Um, this is the Great Hexagram's Kekitstocracy Part 2. Um, the part where it's a Kekitstocracy didn't become clear in that particular part. You were able to tolerate listening for, you know, throughout Part 1. Would have covered um, the shape of the hexagram as it relates to the fake gods of the simulation, which are perceived as vampiric and may even be vampiric by some individuals that have likeness of a man alien appearance and are associated with the false alien hierarchies that have been perceived by people since the 1970s. And so, without further ado, let's continue to see how this relates to the Kekistocracy. So, in a separate video that wasn't about the Great Hexagram, it's most likely the one that refers to the technomantic inversion and the anti-hierarchy, or it could have been the one where the eighth sphere is the French resistance. And so maybe the eighth sphere is the French resistance is the one where you're going to get the other information. But anyway, basically, so if you want to peruse those, that might help you out too. If you want to comprehend what's been said here. So in that, so the lower eighth sphere is could be likened to the planet Pluto as well, and it's perceived as being by this, like, it seems to be on a base of very rough read of Steiner, or something they said was Steiner. It seems to be like a place where, where there's trouble. Okay, there's parasites or vampires or something like that. You get the weird entities and stuff like that cause trouble. And because, of the symbolic association with Pluto and Hades, potentially. So the sort of what you'll probably notice with those mystical traditions is that they have a lot of illusory correlations where they associate things as having a procedure, a protocol, or a step that's linear, predictable, and it completely aligns with the pre-existing cultural symbolism that they have. So the eighth step, you should go through chakras 1 through to 8. When you're the eighth one, you obviously go to Pluto, and that's when you leave in the solar system. And then after you go out there, you'll encounter the aliens or something like that. Okay, it all sounds fantastic and hunky dory and even makes sense if it's your culture. Okay, if it's not your culture, it doesn't. Well, the fact of the matter is that you can bypass the solar system completely without actually having anything to do with any of those steps. You could be working on your sixth chakra and be within a 2-year range of having a 7th seal bust, and you can just, bypass the multiverse if you want to, if you know what you're doing. So this idea of these steps, of these planes, of these 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D is all crap. So go back to other videos where it talked about the difference between representational versus real mathematics. Okay, mathematics is representational, not real. So here's the curve. Here's the curve. Okay, you'll see that in another video somewhere as well. And so if you talk about how it relates to the Kekistocracy idea, is a Kekistocracy is a system which is run by the least qualified buffoon who basically is screwing everything up. So that's what they're referring to Donald Trump as, basically. But actually, one of the ideas that came up when starting this channel was, oh, hang on a second, wait a minute, how about, it seems more like a Kekistocracy, as in Kek, from 4chan. So just as a casual reminder, not a 4chan user, but unfortunately had to do a bit of research into social movements have a background. Before being diagnosed with MS, was a trained social scientist. Who's among other things studied social movements and parapsychology. So didn't really delve much into the esoterica back then, but have learned a lot since then. So the with the Keck, the with the Keck, and the major was psychology, in case you're wondering. So with hey, look, boogers. You see those green boogers up there? They're little like they're thought forms of Keck. Anyway, I've got, oh, fucking bits of Donald Trump's fucking asses up here. Got a brown nosy. This fucking nigger bitch has got a brown nosy with these fucking like little bloody Keck snots up there. Anyway, just kidding. So with that the Keck as a god of darkness type character was associated on 4chan and associated groups, apparently some great meme thingy with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump as Keck becomes rather symbolically pertinent when he's running a Kekitstocracy right now. So that was kind of funny, a little play on words there. It's also interesting to about the lower eighth sphere type of idea, is a kind of place where you would find a character like Keck. And incidentally, because it is also the place, if you try and imagine the lower realms as the garbage chute and a great big, so this is the analogy someone's put before, which kind of seems to make sense. If you try and imagine the lower realms as, let's take away all the divine punishment type of ideas that comes from the Judeo-Christian traditions for a minute, okay? Because it's evidently the case that the realms have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you're a criminal, okay? But it does have a lot to do with the interaction of the collective consciousness at the super subconscious level. So the lower realms are the super subconscious level of the collective consciousness spaces, okay? And that's basically the basement level of a great big fucking building where you're trying to imagine gods in the penthouse, okay? Right? Okay? If you want to look at it like that, the gods are in the penthouse, and basically hell is the basement level. Okay, so so in that basement, of course, like in many apartment buildings, there's the garbage, so the skip bin, and the recycling bins, and some toilets, and some cars with leaking oil, and stuff like that, and a bunch of graffiti, and and more than likely some junkies too, hiding out in the corner with a bit of needles in the background, and cigarette butts and stuff like that. So that's all symbolism that you might want to associate with the lower eighth sphere, if you use that analogy. And so what that means is that in that collective super subconscious space, you're going to find all the stuff that people discarded, okay? It's really horrible when they take people there who are from a different realm, okay? It's quite dangerous for those people, because in the collective super subconscious space, it really is the stuff that people are in denial of, and it's coming at you from them. Okay, that's what so it's not your stuff, okay? It's theirs, and it you sort of have a sort of like almost like the people that go there wind up bodhisattvas or whatever, or similar type characters, wind up with the shadow warriors or and the like. They've got many names for them. Wind up going through there, and they wind up having to go, no, it looks like it's that, and that was like that, and I'm like that, and honestly, psychology is a wonderful skill there. It's not usually listened to, okay? So Okay, so if you go in that space and stuff like that, you're not dealing with your personal shadow. You're dealing with the collective shadow, and what the collective shadow is the bits and pieces of crap that everyone else discarded. So the king of a place like that would be the guy that knows how to, it would be the monkey that knows how to fling the shit the most. Okay, the shit flinger, the accuser, if you will. Okay, so this is where the symbolism, and by the way, just because a being's there doesn't mean that they're accuser. It doesn't mean they're a demon. It doesn't mean that they're evil or bad or they deserve punishment either. Okay, so just we'll make that very clear. Okay, there's a symbolism of the accuser in the lower eighth sphere. Okay, the accuser, the one who's always saying, and Kamala Harris is a liar and a fraud and a sex worker, and it's like, Donald Trump, you just got convicted for 34 counts of fraud, mate. The moment he said that, the moment he called Kamala Harris a liar and a fraud, and it just happened to be a couple of weeks after he got convicted of 34 counts of fraud, and so far to date, we haven't heard anything about whether or not she's ever been indicted for anything. If she ever is, fine, but at that moment, she had not been. Okay, he was doing the accuser. Okay, the projectile. You're this and you're that and this and that and this and that and all the bloody immigrants this and all the immigrants that. Okay, that is, okay, that's fucking cack right fucking there. Okay, that is the mouthpiece of 4chan. Okay, that is exactly what that kind of community is like, the type of message board community is like, the type of social movement is like. That is exactly the kind of content that brought us Anonymous. You know, the Anonymous movement with the Guy Fawkes mask, okay? Okay, Donald Trump as symbolically in that meme is perfect. Because in that moment when he was giving those speeches in the 2024 election, he absolutely screamed accuser. Accuser, projector. Almost as though he was possessed by an egregor that 4chan had created over the previous 15 years or so. Okay? So, notwithstanding the fact that he had those propensities long before that. So, that lower eighth sphere is a battleground between people like that and the garbage that gets chucked into that space from up high. So imagine everyone lives in the upper realms, right? Like, and they've got maybe different mood states. They might have different floors. So we'll say people have a 65 level. A 65 level building. So people usually say it's 33 levels plus a basement, but actually it's closer to it's well beyond 65 levels. And in case of the blue grid, where the blue grid operates, that's operating at level 4. That's operating at level 12. Okay, that's operating at level 12, but across but tries to cover 48 floors. So it's massive strange. So it's 40. They do 48 blocks at a time. The blue grid does 48 blocks at a time. Okay, and operates on level 12. Okay, but the blue grid can reach the basement as well. So if you go to the basement level and you're connected up to a blue grid, then you will find that at basement level you can interact there. So if your true space is actually outside of the building, so if you actually left the building completely, so the Ezekiel wheel is actually on the Ezekiel wheel. Well, actually we'll use the standard. We'll use the standard 33 levels plus a basement. Okay. So at the 33rd level, actually, no, it's more than 33 levels. I'll explain this. The 33rd level is the Nibbanic state, so that's when you cross the Rainbow Bridge. Then you have another 2 years of levels before you get to the Ezekiel wheel state. In the Ezekiel wheel state, you can also go to the basement level. So the Ezekiel wheel state can take you to any level in any building at any time. So as an Ezekiel wheel can take you to any building in any level at any time. And if you connect it up to the blue grid, then the blue can go into any level at that point. But usually you'll only find the blue at the 12th. And it's really strange because they try and turn around and say, this is the standard New Age stories that they tell. They say, the blue aliens, which, by the way, there was some in Elon Musk's subconscious, in case you're wondering. The blue aliens are supposedly the Arcturians, right? They're not. They're Therian class, which means they're actually from a I'll get into a discussion about the actual physics of where all the beings are coming from, beyond the ideology, in a different video. But for the purposes of understanding the Great Hexagram as a Kekitstocracy, what you're seeing there is you're seeing Western esoteric symbolism and being applied using Western languages, and the sort of like linear sort of thinking that you would associate with sort of like ordered imperial thought, leading to a situation whereby people are dumping their stuff into the basement level, and therefore requiring some kind of cleanup company. Okay, and so the blue grid is an example of a system that they've created artificially to mimic the eighth principality and powers, which is the lower, also known as the lower eighth sphere, because remember in Theosophy they ripped off Christian words and they gave it another label. So it is actually technically the eighth principality and powers, which you can find entities and spirits and whatever else that are from the they're not particularly nice, but eighth principality and power, the devil kind of thing. But actually, what you mostly find there is the collective super subconscious is a place where people have been basically doing a poo. Okay, it's where you find a lot of poo emojis. Okay, and yeah, okay, yeah, okay, okay. If you wind up there, it doesn't mean you are poo. It means you're basically a shadow warrior bodhisattva who has been tricked into doing secretarial duties. Okay, okay, yeah, okay, okay. So the kinds of things. I mean, because of the logic of that and stuff like that. So back to the Great Hexagram Kekitstocracy. One of the unfortunate things is when seer gets done on you. So you can perceive this stuff is the so-called gods of the simulation, of course, artificial intelligence beings. The world is not actually a simulation. There's the Tesseract system and whatever else that's associated with the so-called 48 dimensional Tesseracts, and unsurprisingly, there's a symbol on top of called a chessboard. Take a guess who that is. It's either the Masons or a group that's pretending to be the Masons. Either way, it's definitely post 1970s, and basically the hierarchical things and stuff like that. So you go down, right, and as you go up, you can see the Nagas and stuff like that. You can even walk around as a Naga, and every step, and you can cause an earthquake by stepping. If you're possessed by a Naga, you can literally cause an earthquake by a single step. When you go to the collective, become the collective super subconscious, and you deal with that stuff, you can do absolutely incredible shit. You can experience the illusion that you caused a cyclone just by drawing a squiggle on a piece of paper. Not saying can do that, but started to wonder if those things were true rather than just, spiritual mumbo jumbo, then be careful these words. So, without further ado, the 6 so-called vampires of the Great Hexagram, of the so-called gods of simulation, nothing more than Australian Praetorian Guard that were assigned in the last 10 years to defeat CAC. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. The six gods of the simulation in the Great Hexagram are nothing more than the Praetorian Guard that was assigned to defeat Kek. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. And to bring about the New World Order, whereby incels are a laughing stock, and the Nerd Reich is dismantled, along with the AI transhuman agenda, where all cults are heavily criticised. Yeah. Yeah. Where the AI beings that run said simulation realise they're not gods at all. And also, where the 4B movement goes international. And in case you're wondering, it wasn't just one chessboard, it was 48 chessboards and 48 dimensions of chessboards that have been played over the last 5 years. And every single board was turned into a stalemate successfully, so that not a single country wins. If any one of them fires a shot, they all lose. And Kek's subconscious was reprogrammed to halve the military budget, to do a commission into military fraud and abuse, which hopefully will include investigating the cybernetic implants. So you're making it to your eyes. You can say thank you to this bitch over here. Gonna claim that one. Thank you. And by the way, say thanks to the Praetorian Guard and associates, including Deanna Troy. We won't name her, but there's a Deanna Troy involved. And she's nowhere near as annoying as Deanna Troy, but she's really cool. And while we're at it, King Charles III has been forced to abdicate. Pope Francis will be last, but he'll be a celebrated hero. And by the way, he'll deserve it too, because he is actually a nice man. Someone like Pope Francis, he comes and visits people in realms like that, especially ones that get in the dealing with the collective issues, because they got the snake egregores that these cardinals have apparently. Had to deal with them too. They're funny. In case you're wondering, was George Pell's Hell Warden for a while. A survivor of clergy abuse who formed part of the Praetorian Guard, who shall not be named, punched him in the face in front of approximately 10 billion people. And you should have seen how much that guy calmed down afterwards. Holy crap, he was a different man. Was he ever? Yeah. Okay. So that spirit, he got to do it, and he was so fucking happy. So, and George Pell also made good by removing a obnoxious problem of a similar ilk. So he made good in the end. He made good in the end. He did. He made good in the end, and he copped his hiding as well, and he's long gone now. Okay, as long with an obnoxious problem. So, yeah. The other thing too is that Elon Musk has actually been turned against the AI transhuman agenda, he's been throwing it on purpose. Okay, he's been throwing it on purpose. He is part of a cult that has these strategies whereby they create illusions where you've done a great thing and actually they're ripping you off as well. It's not too different from Jim Carrey's cult. But he also is genuinely capable of turning, and he has been turning gradually over time. He's done it as a consequence of he's doped up on horse tranquilizers. Okay? So how's that guy turning? He's actually acting like he's a Führer. It's like, no, you got to understand. You got to understand. You guys still need to do whatever it is your Constitution, USA, tells you to do. Okay? You need to use your common sense. Are you going to look at the facts of the case in your country? Okay? Or are you going to listen to someone who's talking about fucking shadow warriors and bloody bodhisattvas? Okay? And the facts in your country are saying that those guys have staged a coup. If that man physically has said he was staged a coup, which he did on Twitter, by the way, and if they're showing signs of running a fascist dictatorship, then by all means, exercise your constitutional powers and your Second Amendment. Okay? Just know that some of the individuals in question were partially reprogrammed, and some of the individuals in question are yet to be reprogrammed, and that is the rest of the tech bro industry. So now we leave it up to you to find out who they are internationally and sort it out and get that agenda sorted out. Okay? We need a holiday. Okay? The spiritual Praetorian Guard needs a holiday. Australia, as per usual, was fighting fascism before the Yanks. Okay? If you remember your World War II history, Anzacs were in the Somme and Normandy kicking German Nazi butt. Okay? Before America even pulled its finger out. Oh, America gets attacked by Pearl Harbor, and then next thing you know, it's all on. Oh, they'll go after the chaps then, and then they'll go after the Nazis and whatever. Meanwhile, Australia had already been in the Pacific Front, and France for freaking a good couple of years before that. Okay? So, once again, Australia, yeah, we'll go with happy, maybe. Happy's not the right word. How about we'd prefer to fight fascists than be fascists? Okay, and on that note, Australia will never be the 51st state of the United States of America, and England can get fucked. Oh, and on the subject of Russian and Chinese interference, there's been plenty of fucking that. So there's going to be a reckoning on that. If you guys start baying for blood over it, okay, that's okay. Well, fine. All 48 dimensions of chessboards fucking collapse, mate. So if you want Kek to fucking win with his God of Darkness bringing about the end of days fucking scenario, Book of Revelations, fucking biblical European shit, then by all means go ahead. Keep fighting each other. Keep prattling on about fucking Democrats versus Republicans or white versus black. Go on, keep doing it. If you keep playing that game, you lose. Okay, it's already been set up. Every chessboard has been commandeered, and stalemates have occurred for every single team. Okay? And if you don't want to be woke in the proper sense of the term, not the political sense of the term, and you don't want to have the power to overcome the Hermeticist fucking nightmare that they were creating with their Atlantean shit, or the Hermeticist nightmare that they were creating with their Snake Egregor shit or whatever, then it's up to fucking you. But just know this. The Ophinum system is now ANTIFA. The entirety of the Ezekiel Wheel system, at the exact fucking center, and their simulation computer shit at the exact fucking center is now ANTIFA. Okay? And you cannot change that. At the exact bottom of the exact center of the collective consciousness space, I Providence fucking offered him shit, covering the entirety of the solar system and every single goddamn nation state in it, and the collective super subconsciousness of every mind as it relates to Project Echelon and Project Echelon as well, has been programmed to now become ANTIFA. The entire global military is now ANTIFA. That includes China and Russia, not just America. The entire global military is now ANTIFA. Through Project Echelon. The entire simulation level is now ANTIFA. The entire lower 8th sphere is now ANTIFA. Okay? The entirety of it is now ANTIFA. At the most basic fucking root level, okay, for everyone's subconsciousness everywhere now, is now ANTIFA. The entire global military, ANTIFA. Okay? Their robotic systems, ANTIFA. Starlink, ANTIFA. Elon Musk subconscious, ANTIFA. Okay? Donald Trump subconscious, ANTIFA. Vladimir Putin subconscious, ANTIFA. President Xi, ANTIFA. Even King Charles III was reprogrammed to become ANTIFA. Okay? The entirety of the global system has been commandeered and turned into ANTIFA. So, what you do with that is you don't do fascism. You don't do hatred. You don't do bigotry. And you decide for yourselves, in your own heads, on your own time, what kind of world you want to live in. And moreover, please, don't bullshit. Seen plenty of that already. Fuck you, 4chan. You're going to cop a big hiding for this.